listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc right here on the Broken Havoc podcast to give you guys my review of Monday Night Raw from December 27th, 2021. Overall thoughts on this show. This is the go-home show to Saturday's Day 1 pay-per-view. And to be quite honest, it wasn't a good show. It wasn't a good go-home show to the point where I didn't even feel like this was a go-home show. WWE is hyping up Day 1 to be one of their biggest shows. And I think it's going to be a great show. But I thought, this show didn't really deliver to me a good go-home show. It didn't really give me hype for the matches that are going to happen. We're going to be getting Edge versus The Miz, which is a match that basically happened in an attempt to try to In an attempt to basically try to steal AEW's thunder with this whole CM Punk and MJF feud that they're having over there. But, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Miz and Edge. But overall thoughts, honestly, I don't feel that same hype that I do with MJF and CM Punk. That's just me. Because you can clearly see through WWE's eyes that they're just trying to copy flat out what AEW is doing. We got Veer still coming to Raw. Yes, Veer is still coming to Raw. It is ridiculous. And I'm going to talk about another thing, and this is regarding AEW as well. WWE is basically trying to copy AEW. And I'll explain that later on when I talk about Veer Mahan, as his name is, later on the show. But, to be quite honest, overall, this show wasn't good. I didn't like the show at all. I just didn't feel that the show was as important as it was supposed to be. That's just my opinion. But, we're going to go through the show. The show starts off with RK Bro. RKO be starting Raw almost every week now, but that's fine because RK Bro is actually pretty entertaining. Riddle, I've been quite critical on Riddle ever since he got called up to the main roster, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm actually enjoying Riddle's work. And the chemistry that Riddle and Randy Orton have on television is hilarious. To me, it's good television. It's actually pretty funny. So they start off Raw, and Riddle welcomes everybody to the final Raw of 2021. Says if they love what RK Bro did in 21, they're going to love what they do in 2022. He asks Randy to close his eyes and look at the future. He says he will have a happy new year when he beats Otis. Well, that's what Randy says. Riddle says he has been doing some self-reflecting and says he's starting to look at himself from the outside. Randy shows what happens last week. So Randy just what happened. He's sick of what Riddle is trying to say. And he's like, bro, can we just roll the footage of what happened last week? So the footage shows from last week, and then Riddle is, Riddle, this is the funniest part. So right before Randy was gonna, show on the Titantron what happened last week, right before the clip showed, Riddle was like, "What is a production truck?" That was the funniest shit ever. Riddle is high as fuck. That's what Riddle is. He continues to cut a high as fuck promo, he's just high, and he asks how many burritos Otis eats. Randy says Otis is a powerhouse. And then all of a sudden, the Alpha Academy come out. Chad Gable says that there's no more dangerous man than Otis. He taught him everything that he knows. And he says he did it. Basically, Chad Gable just puts over the fact that he has a master's degree, as he does this shit every week. But we get Riddle versus Chad Gable. And before the match starts, Riddle says that he has a special gift for Randy before the match. Or after the match, I should say. Now, what are my thoughts on Riddle versus Chad Gable? I thought this was a really good match. The match wasn't long. It was pretty short, actually, but I actually really enjoyed the match. It was really fun. It was a pretty quick match, but both showed their technical skills. We get a waist lock by Gable. He works on Riddle. We get a roll up by Gable. We get a near fall, and then we get a roll up again. We get a triangle attempt by Riddle. We get a waist lock. Then Gable regains control. Gable works on Riddle into the corner. Riddle then hits repeated kicks on Gable. Gable then targets the left knee of Riddle, and he continues to work on the knee of Riddle. Riddle escapes, but Gable hits the Tiger Suplex. We get a cover and a near fall. Gable then goes to the top. He tries to hit a moonsault, but lands into a triangle. Then Gable escapes into applying an ankle lock. Riddle escapes. We get a roll up. Then we get a German attempt by Gable, but Riddle escapes into the knee, hitting the floating bro and wins the match. Again, this was a really good match, but the booking behind it was really bad. Next up, after this, we had Randy Orton versus Otis. So this is the type of booking I'm talking about. You know, you have matches that, you know, really don't mean much and don't really matter in a feud because, quite frankly, this feud is not even going to last long. But we get Randy Orton versus Otis. Randy tries to go for Otis. Otis hits a splash from the start. Otis, at this point, is in control. He works on Randy in the corner. He sends Randy to the outside. Otis runs into the steel steps. Randy gets back into the ring. Randy then takes Otis to the middle rope and then hits a DDT. Tries to hit the RKO, but Otis escapes. Then hits a power slam on Randy. Otis goes to the top. He misses a splash. Randy then hits the RKO cover, and Randy Orton wins the match. And after this, Riddle grabs the mic and says, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." And then what happens? He wants to give him a big hug, but Randy Orton's like, no, no, no. But instead, Randy gives him the hug and then is about to RKO him as a joke. And then, you know, they hug again. So that was actually pretty funny. But overall thoughts, I did not care about this whole match. Like, the whole booking of the match, again, made no sense. First, you have Riddle versus Chad Gable, and then right after the match finishes, you have Randy Orton versus Otis. I mean, what was the point? Like, what are the implications in this match? I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know why they do this type of booking, but it's WWE logic for you. Wait, I forgot. WWE does not use logic these days, so it is what it is. But I will say, Riddle versus Chad Gable was a really good match. It was a short match, but it was a really good match. Kevin Owens, we get a backstage interview with Kevin Owens. He has a video message from Big E. Big E cuts a promo on his match at day one. Big E is at his home it's like a Zoom call where he's cutting a promo. He talks about how it's his story and not his. Then Kevin says that Big E is wrong. Says it's all about his story, but not this week. Says he is here and he shows up to work every week. He doesn't like it. Says it's the important Kevin story. Says it was his idea to take Big E out, and says at day one he will win the WWE title. And then he calls the interviewer Brett, which is actually pretty fun. No, Bert, not Brett. Bert, which is actually, I don't know why. We get a Veer's Coming to Raw video package. We've been getting this video package every week since October after the draft. I do not know why. Veer, and I've tweeted this multiple times on Twitter, Veer is basically Emelina. If you guys don't remember Emelina, it was basically Emma. She's in Impact right now, but when she was in the WWE, they repackaged her as Emelina, and it took her like 3 months. Like, they put video packages of her for like 3 months, and then when she made her debut, it was just like she just turned heel like from the start and became Emma again. Like, that made absolutely no freaking sense at all. Like, this is basically Veer. Veer is basically Emelina. You know, he's been having matches on Main Event, but who the fuck watches Main Event? I don't watch Main Event. It's a waste of time. And, you know, Veer's coming to Raw. Not only that, the WWE Twitter account was like, they try to be AEW so much to the point where they tweeted out, "Send Veer." And I'm like, bruh, everybody saw through it. Everybody was like, nah. We're going to send Hook. Because, you know, Hook is the top star. And he's at least, you know, wrestling on Rampage. You know, Veer ain't wrestling on Raw yet. You know what I'm saying? So, Veer is coming to Raw. Yeah, I'm so excited. Quite frankly, I'm not excited. We got Dana Brooke and Reggie versus R-Truth and Tamina. A match that, honestly, I do not care for. A match that I do not care for whatsoever. The reason why I say that is because it's a 24/7 match. The 24/7 championship, to me, is not a real championship at all. It is not a real championship. It should never be a real championship. I think the 24/7 championship is a joke. Yes. I think the 24/7 championship is a joke. And not only that, I'm basically lagging a little bit here. I'm lagging a little bit right here on my review, which kind of sucks. But let's see. Let's try to fix this real quick. Yes, I'm in the middle of a review. But whatever. There's a little bit of a delay in the video, but I'll fix that later on. So, yeah, this match I did not care for. Reggie and Dana win, whatever. We got a backstage interview with Nikki ASH. He asked if WWE management made the right decision by banning her from ringside. Nikki says Rhea did not need her help, and Nikki challenges Queen Zelina and Carmella into a match. Do I care? Do I care? I don't care at all. This whole Nikki ASH thing, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of. I'm just not a fan of Nikki ASH at all. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of her at all. And that's nothing against Nikki Cross. I don't like the gimmick. I just don't like the whole superhero gimmick. It's cheesy and it's garbage. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Nikki Cross can be, look, she's an amazing wrestler, an amazing person, but I'm sorry, I just don't like this whole superhero gimmick. To me, I think it's cheesy. It's too cheesy, and I hate cheesiness in wrestling. I just don't. I like my wrestling to be as serious as possible. Like, I just love serious wrestling because then it makes me care when I watch the show, and it makes me feel more invested when I watch the show. This whole thing just not. All right. There's no more delay. Is it? Oh, no more delay. All right, great. So we got the Street Profits versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. This is actually a pretty good match. I'm not gonna lie. This was actually a really fun match to watch. So this was the finals of the RK Bro-nament, or the RK Bro tournament, whatever the hell it's called. Yes, RKO had their own tournament. Do I care? No, I did not. But I'm not gonna lie. This was actually a really good match. The Street Profits went over for the win. Before I get on with the match, I'm just gonna say right here, the Street Profits went over. But Ford and Dominic start. We get a side headlock takeover by Ford. Then we get a side headlock takeover by Dominic. Then we get an arm drag by Ford. Then an arm drag by Dominic. Dawkins tags Ray. We got a Hurricane Rana by Ray. Ray then hits a sunset flip. We got a bunch of rights by Ray. We got a drop kick by Ford. We got a double team attempt by the Street Profits. We got a cover into a near fall. Then Ford is legal. Then we get a roll up by Ray. Then Ford misses a drop kick. We get a double team attempt by Ray and Dominic. Double Russian leg sweep by both Ray and Dominic, which actually looked really sweet. We get a cover into near fall. Then Ray tags in. We get a kick by Ray. Dominic makes the tag. Ray takes Ford to the outside. We get a double sunset flip on the outside by Ray and Dominic on both Dawkins and Ford. Once we're back from commercial break, Dominic takes Ford down. The hot tag is made. We got a springboard crossbody by Ray. We got a kick by Dawkins. Then we get a Hurricane Rana by Ray. Ray then tries to hit the 619, but Dawkins hits a spinning back elbow. Then we get a cover and a near fall. We got a tornado DDT by Ray. We got a cover and a near fall. We get a roll up by Ray. We got a near fall. Dawkins then takes Ray down. Ford tags in. Then we get a beautiful frog splash off the top by Ford, which looked dope. Then we get a cover and a near fall when Dominic makes the save. Dominic then takes out Dawkins on the outside. Ford picks up Ray. Ray counters into a Hurricane Rana. We get a 619 by Ray. Then a Hurricane Rana by Ray on Dawkins. We get a frog splash by Dominic off the top. We get a cover into a near fall. Then we get a counter from a double 619. Dominic hits the 619 on his own. Then Insigiri misses. Then the Profits hit the blockbuster and win the match. So they will face RK Bro at day one this Saturday, which I think it's going to be a good match. Do I think RK Bro do I think they're going to drop the titles? I honestly do not know. But, if they do, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the Street Profits as champions again. That's just my opinion. But, this whole RK Bro, honestly, I had no, real interest in. That's just my opinion. All right, again, my God, I'm having this freaking lag. I don't know why. I'm having this whole delay in my video. I'm using OBS right now, and I'm, literally having this whole crazy delay. I have no idea. Let's try to fix it. Let's try to fix this real quick. I don't know. Yes, I'm dealing with a bunch of lag. This usually sometimes happens when I'm using OBS, but it is what it is. All right. We get the Miz backstage pissed off that basically the guy gave him shitty roses. This whole wedding thing makes no sense, honestly. This whole match that Edge and Miz that they're supposed to have is supposed to be hyped up as one of the best matches of the year, of the new year. And they're hyping up this match, and yet they have this whole wedding segment. Come on now. And you wonder why nobody watches this show. So yeah. We get a segment with AJ Styles. He said Omos says next time he will be in a match with him. Calls out Omos. and says maybe Omos is scared. Says he needs to pay his dues and says the next time he sees him, he will kick his teeth in. Says he got 20 plus years of experience and he saw giants come and go, but there was only one phenomenal AJ Styles. Then after that, what happens? Grayson Waller. Yes, Grayson Waller is in the crowd. If you guys don't know who Grayson Waller is, I don't blame you, because I don't watch NXT. But AJ Styles did appear on NXT last week, and he confronted Grayson Waller last Tuesday. And he comes in the ring and says AJ introduces Grayson to the WWE Universe. Grayson says he likes it here on Raw. You're like the only one that likes it here on Raw. Nobody else does. Then after that, AJ says he's not a star. He's not even close. Then Apollo Crews comes out and says AJ's giant has left him, and they are a united front, that being Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. Says the giant is here tonight, and Commander Aziz challenges AJ Styles, and AJ accepts. So then we go to commercial break, and we come back from break. We get a Cole Carmella backstage interview. They basically accept Nikki ASH's challenge. Blah blah blah. Who cares? Then so we go back in the ring, and you would expect that the match would be AJ Styles versus Commander Aziz, but no. Instead, it's AJ Styles versus Apollo Crews. Again, why do they do this? This is the type of stuff that they do during the break, and it confuses the viewer. Why? You clearly stated on television that Commander Aziz was challenging AJ Styles to a match. AJ accepts that challenge. We go to break, and then once we go back to the ring, we see fucking Apollo Crews in the ring, and you're like, oh yeah, during the break, Apollo Crews, accepted the challenge instead of Commander Aziz. Like, why would you do that? That makes absolutely no sense. That's just those small nitpicks that I hate about this show. All right. This was I didn't care for this match, honestly. We get a drop kick by Styles, and then we get a chop by Styles. He sends Crews in the corner. Then we get a cover into near fall. We get a suplex by Apollo Crews. We get a boot by AJ, a back body drop by Crews. We get a cover and not even a 1 count. Crews is in control. We get a right hand by Crews. AJ takes Crews to the outside. Then Crews regains control on the outside. Once we're back from commercial break, Crews is in control. Styles fights back. AJ hits the Pele, and then he hits the Phenomenal Blitz. We get a forearm by AJ. Then he runs into a boot, and then Styles hits a backbreaker. Then we get a cover into near fall, a sunset flip by Styles, but Crews hits a powerbomb instead. We get a cover into near fall. Crews picks up Styles. AJ escapes. Styles then hits the inverted DDT, which actually looked really sick. One of the commentators, I believe it was Corey Graves, he was like, classic AJ Styles. AJ, do the spiral tap. Do the spiral tap, please. I know you're a little older, but come on. Do the spiral tap. I think you can still pull off the spiral tap, please. So then Crews takes Styles to the top. AJ escapes. Crews hits an enziguri. AJ counters into a roll-up. We get a near fall. AJ then hits the Styles Clash and wins the match. Styles then hits a phenomenal forearm on Aziz, and then the segment ends. This whole feud that's happening with AJ Styles and Omos, honestly, I've been advocating for AJ Styles to split from Omos for a couple months now. I'm just sick and tired of it. To be quite honest, AJ needs to be on his own, and he needs to be a babyface and needs to be in the title picture. I definitely do see him in the main event again. Please put AJ Styles in the main event scene. Just please put him in the main event scene because the guy deserves it. He's that damn good. He shouldn't even be in the freaking tag team. That's just my opinion. Seth Rollins is cutting a promo on his match at Day 1 from his home because he tested positive for COVID-19. That's why you see a lot of these video packages from wrestlers cutting a promo at their houses because they tested positive for COVID-19. So hopefully they can recover for Day 1. Basically cuts a typical heel promo saying that he's going to win the WWE title. All right. We get a Kevin Owens segment. He cuts a promo in his match at Day 1. And basically says his opponent is not here. He talks about what happened at the end of Raw last week. MVP comes out, gives him credit, and says that it takes more stomps on steel steps than to take out Bobby Lashley. Then Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjaman come out. So the entire Hurt Business is back together, but, I cannot take both Shelton Benjaman and Cedric Alexander seriously if for the past... Yes, I know that the Hurt Business was back together a couple weeks ago, but look, I cannot take these guys seriously if these past few weeks they were chasing after the 24/7 championship. Now you want me to take these guys seriously? No, fuck out of here. So we get Kevin Owens versus Cedric Alexander. We get a senton by Owens. Owen applies a cannonball. Then Owens goes to the top, but Cedric escapes. We get a boot by Cedric. We get a clothesline by Cedric on the apron. We get a cover into near fall. Owens plants Cedric on the apron. Cedric then hits an enziguri. Then after that, we get a suicide dive by Cedric. He takes Owens in the ring. Cedric plants Owens face first to the mat. We get a cover into near fall. We get a clothesline by Owens. We get a powerbomb by Owens, then a stunner. Then we get a cover and Kevin Owens wins the match. Shelton Benjaman then gets the mic, but out of nowhere, Kevin Owens hits the stunner on Shelton Benjaman, and the segment ends. Do I think Kevin Owens is going to win the WWE title at day one? I do not think so, because quite frankly, I don't... Look, I want him to win the title, but I know for a fact it's not going to happen. I definitely do see Big E retaining the championship. I would love to see Seth Rollins win it, but I don't know what the hell is going to happen. He's one of my predictions. Like, Seth Rollins, I actually really want Seth Rollins to win the title, but, they probably got some plans for WrestleMania, so we'll see what goes down. We got a video package of Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. And then we get Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title. A match that I did not care about because, of course, Dolph Ziggler won via countout last week to win a championship match against Damian Priest. So that's why we got this rematch for the U.S. title. I hate this type of booking. We saw it with Britt Baker and Riho, where it was a non-title match, and Riho basically beat Britt Baker clean, and then she got a title shot. To be quite honest, I don't know why I'm not really a big fan of champions losing on television. Only do it with pure reason instead of doing it like this. That's just my opinion. But we got Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title. It was an okay match. I was not really as invested in this match. Priest takes Dolph to the corner. Dolph tries to hit the zigzag, but Priest escapes. Priest hits a boot. We get a right hand by Priest, and then we get a knee by Priest. He sends Dolph into the corner, but Dolph gains control. He works on Priest. We get a kick by Ziggler. Priest takes Dolph into the corner. Both are on the outside. Priest then throws Ziggler to the timekeepers area. Once we're back from commercial break, Ziggler works on Priest. We get a right hand. Then we get a knee to the back of the neck of Priest. We get a cover ends in ear fall. And then we get a right hand by Dolph. Priest fights back. We get a spinning kick by Priest. We get a knee by Priest in the corner. He plants Ziggler face first to the mat. We get a broken arrow by Priest. We get a cover net and a near fall. Ziggler tries to leave the ring, but Dolph rolls up Priest. We get a near fall. Dolph hits a DDT. We get a cover into near fall. He hits a slap. Damon then furiously fights back, goes after Ziggler and causes a DQ. And then he hits the reckoning on Dolph on the floor. So this match ended in a DQ. Why did I care about this match? There's no reason for you to book this match on television if you were going to end it in a DQ. WWE loves their DQs, right? Stop with those DQs. It's really annoying. All right. We got the wedding. I'm not really going to talk a lot about the wedding because this whole lagging thing on OBS right now is starting to drive me crazy. And it's, it really sucks. So I'm just going to go through this wedding and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it. So Eric Bischoff is the person that will renew the wedding vows of the Miz and Maryse. First off, what is the point of them renewing their wedding vows if they swerved Edge last week? That is the part that makes no sense to me. In kayfabe, were they divorced? No, I don't think so. If they swerved Edge the previous week, I would assume that they're already married in kayfabe. Why are you doing this whole renewing your wedding vows? What is the whole point of this wedding? So Miz trips when he gets to the ring. He almost busts his ass. That was the funniest shit ever. Miz cuts a promo on Edge. Yes, he cuts a promo on Edge during his wedding when he's renewing his wedding vows with his wife Maryse. Then he tries to speak French and it was really bad. Edge then comes out, and then Miz and Maryse get dumped in black blood. Of course, the Brood music plays, and then they get dumped in blood, and then the segment ends. Honestly, look, WWE, they want me to care about this match between Edge and The Miz. But after this whole wedding thing, to me, I have less interest in this match. Because you already know the whole implications behind this match. Like, you all know the story behind this match. The only reason why this match is happening is because of the fact that WWE wants to steal fire from AEW when they're doing a whole freaking, what is it called? They're trying to steal fire from them after the whole CM Punk and MJF thing was like trending all over YouTube. They're trying to garner that attention, but to be quite honest, it's not really working for them. You know, it's kind of a desperate attempt on their part, but to me, I'm not excited for this match whatsoever. Quite frankly, the only thing I'm excited for the pay-per-view on Saturday is Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and that's it. Everything else on the show is just not really as interesting to me. You know, that's just me, in my opinion. I just don't care at all. That's the problem with the show. But yeah, that was my Raw review. Overall thoughts, I thought this was a lackluster attempt at a go-home show for a pay-per-view. And again, if there was no streaming service and you had to pay $40 for this shit, I'd probably would not pay for it. I'm not paying $40 for this garbage of a product. But hey, we live in the digital age, so you know, you only got to pay $4 on Peacock. So hey, I mean, this show is $4. No, actually, no, this show is 1 cent. Like, I wouldn't even pay. I'd get the show for free and I'd be fine. I wouldn't care at all. But that was my Raw review. Honestly, it was not a good show at all. I'm excited for tonight. We got New Year's Smash, of course, the final Dynamite on TNT. And then next week, I'm going to the Prudential Center for Dynamite, the first show on TBS, which we got Bryan Danielson versus Hangman 2, which hopefully that match does not end in a draw, but I'm really excited to see what goes down. Raw was not a good show at all. I just didn't care for the show, but Dynamite, I'm really excited for Dynamite, so that's why I'm rushing this review. But yeah, that was my Raw review from December 27th, 2021. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more of my wrestling reviews. I'm going to do some little bit changes on the review, on the channel, I should say. I'm doing my old school showcase series, which I'm going to be talking about classic pay-per-views, and also I'm also going to be doing a New Shock series, which I discuss wrestling news of the week. When I'm going to start that, I do not know when, but I will see what happens. I'll let you guys know later on in the video. But yeah, this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast. Signing off.